Hello and welcome to another edition of XFeed. One thing you've probably noticed over the market the past couple of weeks, if not days, more specifically weeks, I wouldn't say months. Except for maybe a few exclusions here and there. But over the past several weeks, maybe 2 months, we have started to see every collection, every company that's doing something within crypto that doesn't have a coin, well, they're launching one. So when you see the term TGE, that just means token generating event. Sometimes you have sales before having the token actually created. Sometimes you have it somewhat during. It's all over the place. But the theme of the day is focusing on that. Why is every project now launching a coin that doesn't have one? Well, maybe because what we're thinking about regarding the Q4 is going to come true in terms of the ease of rates and the money printer coming back on. Now, do we see the heights that we saw once before? One could argue, well, that was a time when the world was shut down and there was real money printing going on right then to make sure things stayed afloat. But we see chaos in the world every single day without fault. Some insanity happening. And it makes you want to turn out of the news. And I was watching Bill Noble's show, and he's gone on about a lot of different topics. And last night, he was just kind of talking about the world and being in chaos. And yesterday, I was out at a store, and earlier in the morning, I was like, you know what? Like, how could I make other people's days better? So I had like a couple things from the grocery store, and there was a lady behind me. I had no idea what. I didn't even know she was there, to be totally honest. But like, I sort of moved a step ahead, and I was like, oh, there's somebody behind me. A smaller grocery store. And I was like, well, I have like 5 things. It's not that much of a difference in my head. But I'm like, do you want to go in front of me? She looks at her salad, looks at me. She's like, you sure? And I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm just kind of, I'm vibing. I'm trying to, just be in a flow state. And it seemed like, okay, that picked up the spirits, because otherwise people are just sitting there looking at their phones, looking down, looking miserable. There was another dude that was leaned up against this truck and just trying to give a head nod. And I feel like waking up today, man, thankful to be able to connect with you guys. But the systems and how the world is going right now, it feels like chaos every single day. And I think the concept around crypto when it was first created was, what does it look like in times of chaos? Distressed Pickle, it's a rough day, honestly. I accidentally saw the video, and holy smokes. And I feel like this sort of thing like radicalized people, and it wakes them up. Like there's very few times, I think, like in my life where I've thought, wow, this is something profound. I do remember when I first got introduced to crypto and learning about this, and there was such passion, and there was so much of a depth to it, and it was like, there's nobody that's really paying attention to what's going on here. Now, this is back in 2020, so not an insanely long time ago, but I remember that. And here we have every different kind of perspective coming out from this, and it's really weird. Like, I get up and I'm like, man, I just want to, connect with people, have a good time, have a conversation, and then things get like derailed out of proportion, which I'm completely derailing right now from the opening. But thank you guys for being here. Very excited to spend the next half hour, whatever it is with you. And again, tomorrow. But let's get into it. The dumbest thing OpenSea could do is airdrop a bunch of down bad NFT bag holders who haven't seen a profitable trade in 3 years. Oh my God. So, OpenSea. We're waiting to see what the hell is going on with the token. They made an announcement the other day where they said in like October, there's going to be an update for the token. And apropos to the theme of the day of everybody launching their token, why are they doing it? To try to capitalize on the market. Now, we've seen some tokens that have launched earlier in the year, and they've had... I don't know if the right term is like an injection from other parties. I think that's like the correct terminology, because we have these market makers, and clearly certain tokens are coming out at insane valuations. It's like, the market's like doing okay a couple months ago, but I didn't think it was that okay. Well, certain tokens that have that extra kind of beef or firepower behind them are getting listed at higher valuations. Anything, well, Can I say anything? I feel like I can say anything. That's maybe a hot take, but I think anything that's from a quote-unquote smaller conglomerate, specifically NFT collections that have done tokens, that would be a very good one, has not had that significant of an injection into it. And so OpenSea, if they were to launch a token right now, how do you think it would genuinely fare? I feel like if I was going to try to analyze that, give analysis, yeah. I don't really get what the hell a token would do. So are we saying that it's a meme token for OpenSea? What does that look like? And we're going to get more into that because Blocks has got a couple of takes, but just a reminder. So everybody's got their perspectives on things, and I don't think you can change people's minds in 2025. Maybe this is like a super hot take, but you know how like back in the day, how they used to like segregate boys and girls in school? I feel like that's going to be something that happens, but it's going to be like people that are, you know, in certain niches, whatever their activities are, they want to stay like within this, because this is like a stupid argument right here. So there was a couple of Pudgy Penguins that were talking, and they said there was no second best. It's Pudgy Penguins. Somebody says none whatsoever. No competition. It's just penguins. And then a guy who's got, you know, 5,000 followers, probably exclusively a Bored Ape Yacht Club, puts out a poll saying which project is the best on-chain IP, and then Bored Apes win with an 82% weighting. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bored Apes, right? Like, I mean, it's friggin' my branding on everything. But there's such a, like, I wouldn't go to as far to say, like, vitriol hate. For some people, I think it's amongst that, right? But it's like, these things, what does it matter? Who cares? Why are we not just like trying to work together? We're both collections that transpired from an industry that was very niche. People that were open-minded and knowing the future is going to be online. Why do we just hate each other? I don't get it. It's so stupid because perception is reality. I mean, it's not even a competition. It's just dumb. So here's your other feel-good story of the day, okay? Here's Chiller coming through big time. So yesterday's stream, I changed it on YouTube because I'm trying to like test different like YouTube titles. So if you ever see a thumbnail or a name and then like it changes to what it was earlier and you think, oh, that's a new video, there's like maybe a reasonable chance that I tried changing the title because I thought something different a little bit later. So I made the stream of the title $20 if you care about anything I talk about. Okay? So somebody messaged me being like, what's your wallet? I'm sending you $20. As if like they were to pay me if anything they found interesting happened during the stream. And the idea was like, it was supposed to be like an inclusive, hey, guess what? You know, if you find something interesting, you let me know and I'm going to give you $20. So I gave him $20. I was like, you know what? That's hilarious that you reached out and DM'd me and we're going to send me $20. That was not the intent with that. You read that backwards, but hell yeah, love it. They responded, I love crypto. And again, just participating, being within the ecosystem, it's supposed to be fun. People want to go where there's optimism. Like the whole idea that I want to do with the stream is I remember when I first came into the space, finding crypto, being interested. Like I didn't care about NFTs at all right back in the day. And I feel like I'm not buying and purchasing NFTs. I'm following it. Where before, like I was really buying anything and everything, but I had fun with it. And I'm like, man, maybe if we can do this, we can get together and I can be that entertainment, that joy for someone else out there. Best NFT IP in quotes for the title holds monetary value, like immense monetary value. Okay, so actually, you know what? That's an interesting point. So if we're gonna say, and I was watching a YouTube video earlier today where it was, let me go back to here for a second. So the YouTube video was of Devin Nash, who is a streamer that also runs an agency. So if you have games, if you have whatever, and you want to partner with streamers, and he'd hire them and everything, marketing, all that sort of jazz. And he was doing a video this morning about view botting. And so on this stream, if you're watching on Twitch, you might be the only person. If you're watching on YouTube, 3 or 4, people go out there and they pay bots to get higher up on the view count, right? And he highlighted how that it's a really, really big problem, and these programs, systems, whatever, need to do a better job of it. And then he started going into the rates of different stuff. And he used certain terminology that I'm not really familiar with. But Pickle, when you said that about if you can definitively say we are the best NFT IP, which for argument's sake, nobody wants to touch anything related to NFTs. And if you say that, they want to run away. But ignoring that aspect, technically that has value, right? Because if you insert, we are the best baseball team in North America. We are the best soccer team. We are the best ad agency. We are the best streamer. And you can definitively have that title. You are right. It adds immense value. W take. Love it. The cost of an iPhone in Bitcoin. So the iPhone 6 Plus back in 2015, which was like the top of the line, so they're trying to compare like the most expensive to the most expensive, was 2.67 Bitcoin. 2.67 Bitcoin. So that's like $300,000 more than $300,000. And in 2025, to get the top of the line iPhone 17 Pro in 10 years, right? Bitcoin went up so much in value that if you go buy the top iPhone now, it would cost you 0.01 Bitcoin. From 2.67 10 years ago to 0.01 regarding Bitcoin. If you're not looking at the screen to see that, it might not make a whole lot of sense, but holy, that is insane. Robbie Ferguson. Listen, I don't do squawk on Immutable, but this guy bull posting every day. Guys, we might need to get back on Immutable. Oh, man. Yesterday, we signed a game with over 18 million players that's earning 1.5 million a month in revenue. Immutable is a magnet for the best games in Web3. Back to the point of Pickle having like the best NFT IP. What's the best Web3 game? Do we even have like a definitive winner of that right now? Shows how really we are, right? So this is a great one. I love this. So I just wanted to send like some love to Bill Noble because I mentioned him so much on the stream, right? And I've been uploading a ton of shorts on YouTube and TikTok. I would love for you guys to check that out and follow. I'll leave an image up on the screen, but it's like Shillerverse on almost all the platforms. And so I messaged him. I was just like, yo, Bill, absolutely love the show. And I sent him this clip with like just as like a, hey, you know, I would love it if somebody like highlighted something on my stream for theirs. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it would be cool. Yo, Deadpool Diva, we got to talk. You need to remind me in a minute, right? Start the timer, 60 seconds. We could talk about Readyverse. Remind me. And so I'm watching his stream the other night, and then like he brings up my clip that I sent him. Now, I sent it in a DM and he didn't like play this clip or whatever, but he talked about it. And so I made a little bit of a collage. So here's my makeshift collab with Bill Noble.
I mean, a guy who watches the show sent me a clip from his show.
I mean, I was listening to Bill Noble's show earlier today, right? And he was going on about how the Q4 rally. And then he made a comment about how I'm saying that, and then Wendy O is saying that. And then I don't know if I'm watching her stream. I don't know if she's watching mine. Guys, the whole world's talking about Q4 rally, and everybody's sitting here like crypto's about to puke and die.
Talking about how, like, you know, everyone's talking about the fourth quarter. Everyone's watching everyone else's show. It's worth repeating. People are frustrated. And I continue to repeat that there is nothing more constructive than a bullish, frustrated user base.
What have you seen on the timeline? Also, W edit, W clip, W. Isn't that phenomenal? Love it. That makes me happy. Anyway, so the he's talking about Q4 rally. Sorry, I had a thought and then I totally lost it. Yeah. So when he's talking about the end there for the frustrated user base. Now we take everything we see on the timeline with a grain of salt, but you probably can count, like, you need two hands or more to count how many times you've seen people post about how this is the worst bull market ever. Right? It's like, it's completely dependent of whatever you're into. Everybody's got their own niches. Again, we're 2025. Very few people have the exact same strategy. Like if we compared Pickle, Deadpool Diva, VGF, and myself, yo, that'd be fire. Can you imagine we were checking our 4 portfolios or how, like, what we collected? It'd be fire. Yeah, that's fire content. God damn. The stream caption broke my brain for a sec. Yeah. Sorry. Crazy stuff. But I agree, I kind of agree with his take, right? Like everybody's here, everybody's like all in. Like we're sitting here, it's 11:12 on a Thursday, and we're talking about a market that not a single person you know in person is paying attention to. Like, ain't none of them wanting to do anything crypto related, right? Because it still has that stigma attached to it. So on the podcast that we do, and I should probably bring up a clip here in a little bit, but the links in the description below on YouTube or on my bio on X. But for the RWA SegMints podcast, like, man, talking with all of these different people that are around the globe doing the most crazy shit. Like, we just had PlaySolana on. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me move back to the screen here. So we have PlaySolana on. They're trying to build the Game Boy of Web3, which is that, like, VGF sitting there like, yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Right? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do a hardware wallet before we have, like, any Web3 games that feel like they're more than, you know, respectable, right? Like we're not talking like mass production of any sort, like world recognition, but, you know, respectable sizes for what it is. But now we're going back to the point of trying to think of when I was a kid, right? Like, I had a Game Boy. I'm like, man, I love that thing. And then there was Xbox consoles, and then there was the Nintendo DS, and you guys probably maybe had like the handheld PlayStation. You did PlayStation, well, I did Xbox. Somebody maybe did GameCube. Some people became Nintendo Maxis, right? But it was the start of something that probably led you down a path of where you are right now and whatever you're interested in. And so somebody's trying to do that for crypto gaming right now. And then we have, again, a huge audience that is not paying attention to anything. But this guy's telling me they have 20 years of experience building these things. They went through a prototype. They were kind of happy with it, but then realized, hey, we're going to scrap that. They end up getting connected with Pudgy Penguins. That soars their marketing traction. That was the clip we played on the stream 2 days ago. And then we have another guy who's tokenizing whiskeys and wines, Svi. Have you ever heard of Baxus? I'm like, okay, so people are tokenizing everyday assets in a way where instead of me shipping you something on eBay, we can just do it digitally, and this is kind of stored in an area. Now, maybe there's fees or something associated with that. Maybe there's not. But I do like the idea of, you know, smaller space, less things. I mean, sometimes we're forced into having less things for spaces, everything else under the sun. And then I'm still trying to think of some other ones, right? Where, okay, so here's a kind of a weird example. Maybe some of you guys can relate. So growing up, you're like, okay, like, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a dog, or you're going to have all these things, right? Like, you think that. And then, like, reality sets in and you're like, I don't know about that. But it's like, you know, in certain circumstances, if I minted 24 Bored Apes and didn't sell them, like, before they had an ETH, then they went to 160 ETH, and I could have had $8 million, which is like very unlikely for like a lot of people, right? Like, that shit just doesn't happen. And so also be very careful, because sometimes you do things that, like, you think's a good idea at the time, and they're like, never mind, I had the right idea in the first one. So, but the point with that is, like, we have these perceptions of things, and then it ends up changing. And so now we're like, okay, how can we make the most of the situation? And I never thought that I could, like, own a property once, like, that realization set in, right? And that's fine, right? That's fine. You come to terms with it. You're like, all right, I'm going to rent. And then you realize, hey, you know what? Rent it or some sort. That's not too bad, because anything bad happens, you just get somebody else to deal with it. But there's a guy that is tokenizing undeveloped land. And it's like, okay, hold on a second. So I said something about owning, like, property, a house when I'm older. There's no way I could do that. Why? Because it's expensive. Okay, so there's a guy who's taken undeveloped land that's worth, like, infinitely less, because it's just like grass, right? Or whatever it is, rocky terrain, and I could buy that. And then, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, wow. You know what? Maybe I can achieve this sort of thing, and I didn't even know that existed. And there's other things where, like, somebody's tokenizing uranium. And there's so many cool things happening. But unless you were eager, you're somewhat paying attention to here for whatever reason. And again, for a lot of us, we were probably in the space of some sort, and things went crazy. And we were like, you know what? This is good. This is fun. This is entertaining. I want to spend my time here because this brings happiness to me. There's so many people that are never going to witness what's going on here. And even if they did, there's a large majority that probably was like, hey, you know what? That crowd's not for me. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Everybody's going to find these different niches. But there's people that are doing the coolest shit that is not being paid attention to for whatever reason. Yet we see all of these complete insanity. Like, I don't even know if you can comprehend the growth that's expected randomly in the next like 4 or 5 years. You've seen the charts, you know, like that looks fake. But why are these charts coming out? And so if you're wanting to have and see some of the coolest things that are happening in the world, I would love for you to check out the podcast. Again, down in the link in the description below. But what we do every day here is trying to find the most interesting takes, bring entertainment to it in some sort of fashion. And I'm posting a ton of shorts. Guys, we had 400,000 views on the channel, and like legit 50,000 of that was from the past like 3-4 days. I'll show you some of the stats here in a second. But craziness. Appreciate you guys coming through. Let's continue with it. Yo, JW, world needs more happiness, even during tough days like today. 100%. Thank you for coming through. VGF hindsight 2020. True. But at the same time, we have to think of, you know, sometimes I think I actually minted Pudgy Penguins back in the day, which is like whatever, right? Like anybody that was in the space minted it. So I don't know if it's like a bragging right. You know what I mean? Like some people say, oh, like I minted Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's like this status symbol. It's like, I mean, for somebody that's like not in the space, sure. But like otherwise it's more like dating myself sort of deal. But check this out. So MoonPay made a post saying, no way, there is no way this mad lad, Luca Netz, founder of Pudgy Penguins, got a gigantic Pengu toy to be a central plot point in a prestige Apple TV comedy starring Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. I have to warn you, I do believe they're swearing with this, so I'm going to count down from 5 if you happen to have kids in the car around 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
What the fuck?
Hey, what are you doing going through my shit? Yeah, you go through my stuff. Yeah, that's
the penguins, they can't.
It's a giant penguin, okay? You fucking happy? It's a peace offering.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy. You get what I'm doing here? I'm following my gut.
Your gut is wrong.
Not?
Too far.
Why is this too far? The gift doing a nice gift is crazy. Look, I feel bad. I feel guilty. I don't want her to hate me, okay?
And those feelings are all noble and understandable and natural and...
Okay, I'm gonna talk sort of quietly while you readjust the volume. Dude, I hate when I think somebody's like recording their TV or their laptop with it, and the volume on that was just absolutely atrocious. So if you're on YouTube, maybe re-skip back if you want to see it. But basically, again, they're in a car. There's a giant Pudgy Penguin behind it. Apple TV, again, has been doing a lot of things. As I've talked about Major League Soccer, they have like an exclusive partnership with Apple TV. So anytime Messi plays for Inter Miami, those are huge games. We have Son now with LAFC. There's a lot of stuff. So I feel like Apple is really trying to push the mark here. So I think maybe, I don't know if people have like a positive view on Apple, but as somebody that like started joining Apple TV specifically because of like the MLS package and has seen it and like, you know what? It's fine. It's the vibe. I think that's somewhat of a big deal. Respectfully, I think it's somewhat of a big deal. I know that some people think, hey, you know what? Apple TV, that's too much of a barrier for like watching Major League Baseball Friday night. That's what they've been doing. Especially like if you're Canadian, the Toronto Blue Jay games, for whatever reason, like every third Friday or something, it's on Apple TV, and all the comments under any post regarding it are just like, I don't want to sign up for Apple TV. I don't like this. I'm like, just shut up and do it. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. So we started off the stream talking about OpenSea. So I want to circle back to that conversation because there was an interesting post here from Blocks that kind of opens up the perspective on it, because I was confused about one thing. And when OpenSea announced that they were going to do OpenSea 2, you might have noticed that they changed kind of their entire interface. There was certain components of it that I wasn't a huge fan of, like the bids, seeing what you had on different collections and whatnot, I thought was a little bit wonky. Generally, I thought it was okay, but there was like a few misnomers. You know what? I like the other one like a little bit better. So I used V1 for a very, very long time. And then it came to a point where they basically like forced you over to V2, or maybe V1's still available, but I thought that it like forced me, but maybe I could have just said, you know what, like skip for next time. But within that change, I noticed that they had a token swap that I hadn't noticed before. And this token swap is just like Uniswap or any kind of decentralized exchange. You might be somebody that uses Coinbase or a centralized exchange where you only buy what's on their marketplace. If you have a wallet you can still use, the quote unquote Web3 more natural. Is that like natural Web3? That's just, it sounded better in my head, but you can go and trade these tokens. And so OpenSea, for a lot of people, if you're, using these centralized exchanges, you might have only interacted with OpenSea as your Web3. You've not done Uniswap. You've not done Blur. You've not done Magic Eden. You've not done a couple of these platforms, not done Sushi Swap. There's a lot, right? I think that there's kind of a big connotation for OpenSea and retail, for lack of a better term. And so having a token swap where maybe that introduces for the people that are, on centralized exchanges, but buying NFTs are like, hey, look, there's other tokens that I can get, and OpenSea has them on their platform, and I trust this brand. Because brand, remember back to how, we do in the podcast, you need to have like some kind of repertoire, because otherwise you just look like a scammer. And I'm like, okay, who do I know? We got to make contacts. Let's we're legit over here. And I think that the brand essence of that is going to be important whenever we do have more of a retail influx. All right, Blocks coming through with the take. Things are going to get interesting with the OpenSea token. Listen, the opening here, it's kind of okay. We get the idea, but we don't have a hook. You know what I mean? Like Blocks is just saying the things are going on. And I agree with you, but that first line, listen, you got to hook me better, but you hooked me on the idea because I read it anyway. How they execute the next month will be key. They obviously need their token swap volume to become a big part of the platform. And so back to the thought that I had before reading Blocks' post, I'm like, yeah, I did thought the token thing was weird. Oh, you know what? But that's actually really smart, because if they can get the volume of NFTs and the transaction volume, you're going to get way more. You're going to get way more on these coins, right? Because when we do the comparisons of crypto coins, I'm going to have to do this here. The comparison of crypto coins to NFT prices, it's drastically different to a point where you realize, wow, that market actually is huge. So let me try to zoom in here. Does it? No, it's too far there. Yeah, there we go. So for CryptoPunks, the number one NFT in the world, back to what Pickle said earlier, you need to have the best, in quotes, of whatever, and you'll get respect, you'll get attention. CryptoPunks is there, all right? Their market cap is $2.1 billion. $2.1 billion. So the top NFT collection that you have to trade hundreds of thousands of dollars to acquire, which you'd only get X amount of transactions per day, is at rank 52 for crypto, which is currently Algorand at 2.1. The volume across these cryptos is insane, especially if we go to the top, right? You go from these market caps of like 2.1 billion to literally several trillion, right? And the volumes just skyrocket. So that, from like a business decision, is very interesting, where I agree with this. To make it make sense that OpenSea work with the main NFT projects that have tokens. What if also, here we go. I actually didn't read this thread entirely. I just read the beginning. I was like, I'm going to use this on a stream. So I'm learning about this at the same time. So some of this is going to be like live reactions. That's what I was trying to do. I don't actually read these tweets ahead of time because I feel like it's more natural going over this. So we talked about earlier the NFT projects that have launched that were like not really performing that great. Like virtually any of the ones that have been associated with NFTs have not done good as of late whatsoever. But OpenSea is also having all these partnerships with all these NFTs that we're seeing here, there, and the other thing. And what if all these other new ones that are still going to TGE are potentially going to come through that? And then it's kind of the cycle, and you're like, this is all interesting. This is why FUD is the thing. Raising your bags by standing on the bags of others. Yeah. To make it make sense for OpenSea to partner with these projects, do one partnership at a time, 2 to 4 week blocks out. Heavily incentivize trading on the sponsor token for the OpenSea token's reward and prizes. This means concentrated volume into a specific powered up token. Then if it works well, you will get capital front running into the others ahead of time. The capital then flows between the NFTs and the tokens. So I made a short the other day that was kind of ragging on OpenSea. It kind of was. Give me 2 seconds here because I want to play this for you. It's been 7 months since OpenSea gave any official update on the OpenSea token. Everybody's just pissed off about it now. And the other thing that I noticed too is if you go and look at the Voyages, because what they're doing right now is they're giving incentives for you to go and like purchase NFTs. I feel like there's just none of them that are running. I think I did like maybe 4 or 5 of them. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel exciting at all. And maybe they're waiting for some kind of altcoin season, NFT season. Maybe there's a broader plan. Maybe there's a broader plan at play. Maybe. But the hype around the OpenSea token, I feel like earlier when they originally announced it, before OpenSea 2 came, I mean, arguably even before they said they were going to do a token, people were amped the hell up. People were amped the hell up. And now, like, I feel nobody cares at all. But then when it's positioned in this light of, hey, just like, remember, they're trying to get people that are doing these token trades, not just NFTs. You're like, what if all of them somehow get a perk up from this? These are the same questions we have around Animoca brands because there's so many of them. Also, Deadpool Diva, I don't know if you're still here. I said 60 seconds and we are going to talk about Readyverse. It's been like 21 minutes. I don't know if you're still here, but love it if you are. And the Voyages? So what they're doing when we say like the token transaction volumes of some sort or whatever, like what they're encouraging. So if you make a swap on their platform, you can get points that are going to be associated, registered, we're going to kind of find out, used in whatever this OpenSea airdrop claim, whatever it may be, is. The Voyages have like just stopped. Like a couple weeks ago, you had like 4 or 5. Go buy an NFT that's $5. Go swap this token to this chain. Go buy an NFT that's $50. And the cool part about it is like if you bought the $50 NFT, you would also get the points for just buying the 10. And there was like several different ones you could do. Tweet about it. And now nothing. But they just announced the other day that they're getting updates in Q4. So it feels very weird that that's just like kind of suddenly stopped. But also Bored Ape Yacht Club, the market cap for that is 414 million. Again, that is like a 4x drop off from CryptoPunks, which is crazy. Yeah, join Promptopia if you want during the end of the stream. I'm probably not going to join just because I feel it more like talking than gaming. But if you want to have any discussions here regarding that, I'm happy to talk about Readyverse here for a little bit in this whole metaverse thing. So don't let me forget. But by the way, your comment on the post about, let me just go to it. What am I talking about? We have the visuals. We can just look at this. Listen, W reply. When I posted this thing about the 400,000, where's Deadpool Diva in here? We got that. We got that. Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I need to respond to these things. I hope to get to your level one day with random Readyverse videos. Thanks for being a great voice in the Web3 space. Yo, appreciate you. And listen. Hell yeah. Listen. See, now you get a clip. This is going to forever exist on the internet where we have a clip of you at 83 followers. And then the challenge is just to see how high you can get and make it a game. It's fun. Yo, Hoonsy, what's going on, my Brumalauchi? How are we? How are we? Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Also, Xander messaged me yesterday about doing Clash with you. And he's like, how do we convince Hoonsy? So that's why I sent you the Josh Block clip. I was like, that's going to get him. Right? Right? Fruit Loops and McDonald's. I think I accidentally skipped the post. I think I closed the thread early, unless I completely mucked it. But Doodles, the brand that's in Web3, they've done collabs with a whole bunch of different people. And by people, I mean some of the top brands within the world. And now Fruit Loops, the cereal, is a part of that. Kind of crazy. Fruit Loops, McDonald's, Casio, G-Sox, Lil Wayne, Coi Leray, and Pharrell on the music front. The quality of names Doodles get to partner with this is probably the best in Web3, and yet Doodles can't even break 1 ETH right now. Why? Guys, why is it that we don't have these NFT collections that are breaking out, having all-time highs, and people are, not really looking at them like Veblen goods anymore for some reason. When people suddenly feel like they have money and it's magic internet beans, that's when stuff runs. And this crypto market shopping, well, that's going to be tough. These things are very cool, though, down the line, because you just, listen, you only need to acquire a couple of fans from each of these collabs. Get a couple big enough ones, you're vibing. So I need to go back to the theme. You guys need to shut that shit down. Listen, we went so far off track when we were supposed to only talk about upcoming TGEs of sorts and the pivots and the excitement around some of these coins. Maybe we've done a good job of that. Maybe we pivoted a little bit here and there. But pivot. Everybody looks at pivots being such a bad thing. Listen, if I told Pickle that he needed to pivot in his life, he'd probably be like, yo, you know what? You're right. I agree with you. But everybody else in the world's like, yeah, you know what? You're the problem. Unreal. And all of these crypto projects are pivoting right now because they realize that's what they need to do. So Anime Token, they're refreshing it. The token that has said, we're going to bring anime on chain, we're going to revolutionize that industry, which, of course, anything to do with Web3 is revolutionizing in our current form. Maybe feels weird, but that's how we're going to look back at this time with. They had Anime Chain. And now they're changing things up just a little bit. The refresh is simple. Anime Token is no longer corporate. It's the anime culture coin. It's anime money. What the hell does that mean? How do we just come out and say, okay, we're no longer corporate for the anime token? So does that mean like there's no intent for it to have any use on the network? Is this some sort of thing where you guys were like geniuses and thought, you know what, we don't actually have to do anything. We just need to make them believe and then say, listen, it's just a meme, baby. It's just money. I love that we can just say things within this space. It's hilarious to watch. CEOs aren't there that Normans can have faith in. Bruce Lee be like Wata. 6 weeks ago, someone offered me a Bitcoin for my 9-pack gold LeBron Jameses. And these are Panini NFTs, I believe, or are these like physical cards? I think this is a part of the Panini because it's got that tag. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fast forward 6 weeks. Okay, so they offered 1 Bitcoin because they wanted 9 LeBron James cards. Fast forward 6 weeks after, Panini America exploded with multiple 5- and 6-figure sales. So we have a screenshot from 6 weeks ago of somebody that was willing to pay an entire Bitcoin for a couple of LeBron James cards. And allegedly, well, I shouldn't say allegedly. We've talked about a bunch of the sales. This thing is doing basically what Top Shot just did. So this guy's portfolio literally quintupled. If you read Manhwa, they all use coins to pay more chapters, so anime coin might be a thing. Okay, interesting. I'm going to be completely transparent. I have not looked at like anything regarding Anime Token. I need to. I remember watching the first Azuki video when that came out. And I remember seeing like the skateboard sales and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I haven't looked at their website in probably a year. Intel, BlackRock now holds roughly 100 billion in crypto assets. Okay. That's cool. So the Kong TGE. Hands up if you attempted to claim the Kong token. Hands up if you were just absolutely massively disappointed, as per usual, trying to get the Kong coin. So they say 9 a.m. You're going to be able to first come, first serve the token claim that they called an airdrop. They literally called this an airdrop the entire run-up to then make you claim it in a first come, first serve is crazy work. So this spurred a whole bunch of reactions of, wow, it didn't work, this, that, the other thing. Token comes out super low, like 17 mil fully diluted value market cap, higher than Silo. But, I mean, Kong the banana token was really up there at one point. But again, we've had that for everything. But people are wanting to have refreshes. They look at these charts of down only. Listen, have you ever tried to show somebody a chart of your favorite token that you think's massively undervalued, and everybody just looks at you and says, this is the worst chart we've ever seen in our life? There's no hope. And they just keep saying that. And you're like, okay, so I understand. But you're seeing every other coin that's in the exact same situation simply rebranding to try to fix the chart. Listen, if they just keep with it, we trust the process, okay? Because we're seeing so many pivots, and this is the story, the arc of the theme. Listen, it's like a novel. Banana, hey, is a play on the difference is Silo as a place, whereas the most others don't. Did you see the post that Silo did yesterday? Oh, wag me, brother. Holy smoke. Dude, nobody understands what's coming. I'm not even like a tech kind of guy. I took an engineering course once, dropped out, no idea what was going on. No idea. I'm reading this paper. I'm like, I got no idea what's going on, but like, this sounds good. This sounds real good. And then you go through, you maybe throw like a little part in ChatGPT where you're like, I don't understand what the hell that means. And then they explain it away and you're like, oh my God. And then you sit through all of the friggin' Twitter spaces. You record stuff. You publish videos on YouTube so other people can see all the goods they've missed over the year. It's still too bad. Unreal, Diva. Absolutely unreal. All right, let's get back into it. So the Kongs token, what are the reactions from everybody after this complete debacle of the claim's not working? If you to claim it, you have to tweet about it. It's not an airdrop. It's all these things. It doesn't work. It's just, FUD it. Oh, FUD it. That was the mindset everybody had. Fun when teams try to revive their brand, but instead tank it again with incompetence. And now, this is something to talk about too. A couple of years ago, if there was a gas war, if there was something wrong with the mint, like people burn the house down, but like it was fine. Like it was like, all right, like that was kind of like a shitty time. And then you, in good old crypto fashion, you pick up your stuff and move along. That's it. But the people nowadays, if you're not doing basic like airdrops or stuff that one could argue is super simplistic, you're just forever dead to them. It's unreal. It is ruthless and savage beyond any repair. Calling it an airdrop when you have to claim the coins should be illegal. 20,000 view tweet, by the way. 20,000. Here's the apology letter. CyberKongz is like, hey guys, we wanted to give you free money. Caveat, you had to spend like 10,000 on OpenSea at some point, like 2023 beyond. It's not technically free, but a good gesture of will that they... Okay, here's the apology letter. We apologize for the way things transpired with the airdrop claim today. Due to unprecedented website traffic, we were unable to handle a large amount of the claims. It is never ideal to have a first-come, first-served claim. Okay, so they established that it is never ideal to do what they did. But due to the nature of the token being an existing one, it would have been impossible to include all the wallets in an airdrop. Okay, maybe there's... I don't know how that works. If anybody's in engineering, why is that a problem? It was our intention to reward people that have stuck around in the space and onboard them into a project that has believed in NFTs since the start. Let me read that again. I feel like... It was our intention to reward people that have stuck around in the space and onboard them into a project that has believed in NFTs since the start. Again, you're trying to buy favor of some sort. And this is brilliant, right? Like everybody's paying attention to what's going on with CyberKongz right now. Like it is, doing this sort of thing is really, really cool. And so they should be praised for that. But people are raging. The vision for Kong has not changed, and our focus for the CyberKongz ecosystem remains the same. Ross, I can't believe the FUD I'm seeing around the CyberKongz Kong airdrop. If y'all are really out here hating OG builders who try again and keep giving more and more and more over and over again over a $30 claim at current market value, this shows you how down bad some of you are. And So I've been on such a kick over the last week of trying to just say, hey, I'm trying to be positive, right? Like, is that weird to say out loud? But there is genuinely so much negativity everywhere that people can't even look positively anymore. It's insane. It's insane. Enzo got some comments on the Kongz TGE. They're the biz dev and growth of CyberKongz. So this is an employee. Imagine getting these employee statements. Like, think of how cool in theory this is. So we have these people that we're interacting with, and they don't owe us anything, but they're giving like full debriefs. You have that transparency. You have that connection. I could probably follow Enzo and like shoot him a message. There's a chance I could talk to him. How absolutely wild is that? Some comments on the Kong TGE. First things first, the airdrop claim was an absolute disaster. We hold ourselves fully accountable for not being prepared for that amount of website traffic and ultimately people being unable to claim. What was supposed to be a nice gesture for the wider community turned into a lot of frustration and us wasting a lot of people's time, which we apologize for. Personally, most frustrated about this because it was a brilliant opportunity to educate people on the history of Kongz and give all claimers an opportunity to join our amazing community. People still have this opportunity, by the way. And yes, I will say, when I first got into the space, CyberKongz was one of the first things that I bought. Sorry, that's completely inaccurate. Can you imagine that? Wow. That's like doing like the Bored Ape, I minted Bored Apes thing. Sort of. So at one point, I got into CyberKongz and it was like, okay, cool. Like there is a huge community. There's people that are doing this. And it was wild. Like it was very, maybe one of the first like big time communities besides NBA Top Shot that I saw. Zed Run would be up there too, the horse racing game. We got to find that clip of JVB. I have that clip somewhere. It's absolutely phenomenal. But Kongz does have like a good history and like a good community, if you're wanting that, to learn about the space, etc. With the nature of the token's fully diluted value, it would have been impossible to appease everyone. So we went with the strategy of first come, first serve. We were never going to find a perfect solution, but wanted people to have an airdrop that made them feel like their ongoing commitment to the NFT space was rewarded. I'm still very happy that our token is now listed on centralized exchanges and is liquidity, something that has been lacking since inception. The vision for Kongz remains the same. It is the brand liquidity layer of a project that has consistently innovated and pushed this space forward. So if you're looking for name recognition, what sort of brands, companies are going to jump over there? From Zoomer, the SEC. Chair Paul Atkins says the SEC will ensure capital can be raised on-chain without endless legal scrutiny and will allow for, in quotes, super app trading platform innovation and keynote speech. Okay. So I've talked about auto blockchain before, and this is something that might end up becoming part of the, I don't know if meta is the correct terminology for this, but something that is highly in demand, right? Where people are talking about like prediction markets right now, or what would be even like another good example of this? I feel like there's not. So how they're, no, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, so yeah, how do I phrase this? So in the several different NFT marketplaces, right? You have like OpenSea, Magic Eden, you have Looks Rare, whatever the hell else there is. They're all marketplaces, but they all do things like slightly different. And so if you take that and switch it over to looking at like Uniswap and SushiSwap, both of those change tokens, right? Like it's a token swap platform. And so it's like a theme, right? And so think of different blockchains and how they have different things. There was one blockchains before that were, or apps that were specifically for bridging or anything. I'm sorry, this is going on for like a minute, but the point being is the capital can be raised on chain. This specific part right there, okay? And then back over here, a curated smart finance blockchain built for the Web3 community, promoting safe and compliant decentralized finance. Okay, so to raise capital on chain, you're going to need to have like a big, huge, safe and compliant sort of situation that's also likely going to be connected in some way to the decentralized networks as well as centralized ones, okay? So I think this is going to be sort of what the next wave is for different chains or things, and you're going to see similar to back in the day where you had backed by Animoca brands is something that was a very positive thing where just anything Animoca seemed to be going up in value, right? Is that I think the next echelon, and that this doesn't necessarily mean these are going to have like insane amounts of volume on every single one of them, but we're going to start seeing people making announcements or associating themselves with something that's compliant. Okay, so keep an eye on that. That's going to be the next big trend. It's going to be massive. Yo, Kaz, absolutely love to see you. The clips, or sorry, pictures you show of the Oregon games. Go Ducks. That shit's phenomenal. I'd love to see it. Good to see you. I obviously couldn't afford a Kong back in the day, but I traded a lot of bananas, surprised that didn't qualify somewhere in the airdrop. I saw people that had all of these different screenshots. Trying to think of the word of it. It's just a screenshot of like what their claim was. So some of them had like the 1,600. Some of them showed like 16,000. Like, do you have several CyberKongz? Is this the banana token that you were talking about? Because I like when I clicked on it, I was like, am I going to get more? And then I didn't either. I agree with you. I'm very surprised, or at least owning the CyberKongz at some point. But maybe I guess that's like rewarding people that sold, and current community members would be like, don't do that. People just be like, yo, don't do that. Insane. So Shiv, insane how many projects are forgotten post the token generating event, which we're looking at a whole bunch of them that are doing that. Before a token generating event, everyone talks about it, but the moment the TGE happens, there's very few, and I mean very few, that survive the hype. And that's the same thing with like NFT mints, right? That's not like a weird thing. Not only that, the project stops building and shipping, making it even worse than what it is. The 99% of projects won't survive narrative is still going strong to this day. Very few will survive post-TGE, and the ones that do are probably worth paying close attention to. Back to the chart can look bad, but maybe still be worth paying attention to. Harsh reality of the space and what we live in, unfortunately. A lot of stuff going on. So as a reminder, Kongs, they just launched their token. We're going to get into a massive list of them, but also portals. Ooh, the metaverse that is over on Solana. So Deadpool Diva, we can talk about Readyverse here in a momentaro if you're interested. If there's anything you want to make comments on or whatever, we can have a quick little discourse here. So portals, the idea with portals is that it's just a world where you're able to go in these different instances and have experiences of sorts, whether it's games, whether it's mining something, let's doing whatever. Just like a game. It's like a hub. Think of connecting online with your friends for a game. Same sort of aspect. But these guys are going big on Solana. And they have gotten a pretty heavy user base. And these are all different characters that were running through those various worlds. And so they're doing a token. And I think these guys are going to be around for a while. I think they've got a lot of very positive things that are going around their ecosystem. And I would say the same around CyberKongz. And both of them decided of all times to drop a collection of coins. And collection is not the right, just drop coins. Now, I wonder why they're doing that. So ICO Analytics updated a short list of the upcoming token generated events, primary listings, product releases you should know about. There's like 50 on this list. Nah, not 50. No, that's not 50. That's BS. That's maybe like 15. Yeah, maybe 15. Crazy. What? Are all these protocols just happen to be ready now? Are they trying to, get in for something? Which one of these are going to be legit? But is this going to be the Q4 that we have the tokens that are coming into the market are backed by legitimate projects or legitimate companies? Where when you looked at this before, kind of him and Han about things, you can look at it now and be like, well, people keep talking about get something that's new because the old stuff, well, those are just dinosaurs. Is part of that going to end up being correct? Or you want to look at something that's new? that might be the case. Unreal. All right, any final things before we wrap up here? Because that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed otherwise. But Kaz, Distress Pickle, Deadpool, Hoonsy, appreciate you guys coming through. JW as well, VGF earlier. Yo, hell yeah. Gotta love it. But it's been fun. And we're going to be back doing this tomorrow. Don't forget, I've been posting a lot of shorts. So let me know if you watch any of them, see them, some of the videos or whatnot. Actually, that's what I said earlier, didn't I? I said I was going to show you what that looked like. Yo, Pickle, 100%. Thank you, good sir, for coming on through. Okay, yeah. This is going to be great. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal. But there is going to be a problem that I don't know if you're going to be able to see this screen. Yeah, we'll drag it over. We'll make it work. Okay. So this is the past 90 days for the YouTube channel. And you can see this like a complete flat line. Now, we don't have thousands of people viewing, but like it's not that bad, right? And so I've started posting shorts like a lot over the past few days. And so we went from virtually nothing to like 7.5 thousand views out of nowhere. It's crackers. It's absolutely crackers. But I appreciate you guys checking in for the content. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.